Did you know that one of the vegetables sitting in your kitchen right now, something you've eaten your whole life thinking it's healthy, could quietly raise your risk of a stroke overnight? No warning, no pain. You go to bed feeling fine, and by morning, your speech is slurred, your balance is gone, or one side of your body won't move. As a brain doctor who has spent decades treating older adults, and I've seen far too many seniors fall victim not to junk food, but to foods they believed were protecting them. Vegetables. Yes, vegetables. The very foods that were once healing your body, and after 60, begin working against you. What changed? Your body did. Aging slows your kidneys, stiffens your arteries, and alters sugar and minerals. And when that delicate balance breaks, it triggers strokes and forms deadly clots in silence, sometimes overnight. Today, I'll expose 7 everyday vegetables that can quietly harm your brain, disrupt your circulation, and threaten your independence unless you know how to handle them wisely. Stay with your, because what you're about to learn may just save your life. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I have hit that button and turn on the bell so you could made just for you. If you 0 to let me know how I can make better content for Goitrogens. 1, spinach, the hidden vitamin K trap. If you're over 60, there's a good chance you've been told that spinach is one of the healthiest foods on earth. The earth. You've heard it since. Innocent, even wise. But what if this green superfood that's supposed to could actually trigger a stroke? And overnight? I know that sounds impossible, but as a brain doctor, I've seen it happen more times than I care to remember. Spinach is packed with vitamin K, a powerful nutrient that helps your blood clot properly. When you're young and your body is, that's a good thing. But as we age, especially once we cross 60, things change quietly inside us. Our livers process medication more slowly. Our blood vessels grow stiffer and more fragile. And many of us are prescribed blood thinners, drugs like warfarin or Coumadin to keep clots from forming. That's where the danger begins. Vitamin K directly counteracts the effect of these medications. So if you eat large amounts of spinach, maybe a smoothie or sautéed greens with dinner, your medication suddenly can't do its job. Your blood begins to thicken again, circulation slows, and small clots start to form silently, like tiny grains, and you don't feel it. And then, sometimes overnight, one of those clots finds its way to the brain. That's hecho. When everything changes. Your speech slurs. Your vision blurs. Quietly, cruelly, without a single warning. I'll never forget Mr. Sauhis, a 74-year-old retired engineer from Wisconsin, a gentle man. And he took his medication faithfully every evening and started his mornings with a green smoothie packed with spinach, kale, and avocado because he wanted to live longer. Stay strong for his grandchildren. For months, he felt fine. Then, his wife found him on the kitchen floor, his mouth trying to form words that wouldn't. The scan showed a blood clot lodged in his left middle cerebral artery, the kind of stroke that steals speech and movement in an instant. His blood work revealed dangerously high clotting levels. And it was too much vitamin K from the healthy greens he thought were saving his life. That's all. It's not junk foods. It's not junk food or bad. It's something you thought was good for you, something you've eaten for decades without a second thought. But after 60, even healthy foods can turn risky if you don't understand how they interact with your aging body and your prescriptions. So if you talk to your doctor, keep your intake of leafy greens consistent. Don't skip them for a week and then binge on spinach salad the next. Never drink large spinach smoothies without checking your INR levels, because while your heart needs and your brain needs stability. And too much vitamin K at once can quietly tip that balance, forming clots that no one sees coming. You might be thinking, if spinach can do that, then what about other so-called healthy vegetables? That's exactly where things, because the next one on the list doesn't thicken your blood. It can drop your pressure so low overnight that your brain simply can't keep up. Let's talk about that. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please, number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Beets, the blood pressure roller coaster. If you're over 60, chances are open up your blood vessels and improve circulation. You might even, while your heart needs balance, your brain needs stability. And too much vitamin K at once can quietly tip that balance, forming clots that no one sees coming. You might be thinking, if spinach can do that, what about other so-called healthy vegetables? That's exactly where things get even more concerning, because the next one on the list, it can drop your pressure so low overnight that your brain simply can't keep up. Let's talk about that next. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Beets, the blood pressure roller coaster. If you're over 60, chances are you've been told that beets are good for your heart, that they open up your blood vessels and improve circulation. You might even drink beet juice every morning, believing it's a natural way, and for seniors, especially those already on blood pressure medication, beets can quietly push your body into a dangerous imbalance. You see, beets are rich in nitrates, natural compounds that convert into nitric, which helps your blood vessels relax and your pressure drop. That's wonderful for a younger body that can quickly adjust. But in the aging body, the balance between blood flow and blood pressure becomes fragile. Your arteries stiffen your heart doesn't pump quite as forcefully. And your brain, the hungriest folk, depends on a steady stream of oxygen-rich blood to survive. When that stream slows down too much, even for a few minutes, brain cells begin to die. Now imagine this. You've taken your blood pressure medication at dinner, and later you enjoy a glass of beet juice for your circulation. It seems harmless, even responsible. But together, the drug, while you sleep, your blood moves sluggishly through narrow vessels. And blood begins to pool. It thickens. And that's when it happens. It forms clots. Tiny ones at first, silent, but when one of them travels to the brain, the result can... That's exactly what happened to Mrs. Jenkins, a 79-year-old retired... She prided herself on her natural lifestyle. No soda, no. Only whole grains and vegetables. Every night she drank beet juice to keep her blood pressure down. Then, one morning, she tried to get out of bed and collapsed. Her vision spun. Her words slurred. The scans showed a small but devastating... the part of the brain that controls balance. The clot had formed during the night when her blood pressure dipped too. For too long. This is what I wish more seniors understood. Not all heart-healthy foods are brain safe. When you combine foods that dilate vessels, and your circulation can slow so much that, and once your brain's oxygen supply falters, the clock starts ticking. Neurons begin to die in minutes. Beets aren't evil, but for older adults, timing and moderation are everything. If you love them, and when your blood pressure is naturally higher, never pair them with your medication or drink beet juice at night. And always tell your doctor if you're adding them to your diet. The same can quietly steal another's mind because your brain doesn't rest. It gasps. It struggles. And in that silent struggle, clots are born. Now, if you both thought beets were the only vegetable that can betray you, wait until you get a crisp, watery snack, and you've probably been told it keeps you hydrated. But for seniors, it might actually dry out your brain and thicken your blood overnight. 3, celery, the silent dehydrator. For decades, celery has been praised as the perfect diet food. Crisp, refreshing, and light, and full of water. You've probably seen it in every senior health magazine, labeled as a guilt-free snack that keeps you hydrated and supports heart health. But as a neurologist who has treated stroke patients for over 30, I can tell you this. For many older adults, that innocent-looking stalk can quietly create the exact conditions that trigger strokes and form deadly blood clots, often while you sleep. Celery acts as a natural diuretic. It makes your kidneys release water and sodium more quickly, which sounds good at first. It reduces bloating and lowers blood pressure. But if you're over 60, your body no longer regulates fluids the way it once did. Your blood vessels have. Your kidneys filter more slowly, and your brain depends on steady hydration to keep blood flowing freely. The problem is, when you lose too much fluid, your blood becomes thicker, more like syrup than water. And that's when the danger begins. Now imagine this. You've taken your evening dose of and supports heart health. But as a neurologist who has treated stroke patients for over 30 years, I can tell you this. For many older adults, that innocent-looking stalk can quietly create the exact conditions that trigger strokes and form deadly blood clots, often while you sleep. Celery acts as a natural diuretic. It makes your kidneys release water and sodium more quickly, which sounds good at first. It reduces bloating and lowers blood pressure. But if you're your body no longer regulates fluids the way it once did. Your blood vessels have stiffened, your kidneys filter more slowly, and your brain depends on steady hydration to keep blood flowing freely. The problem is, when you lose too much fluid, your blood becomes thicker, more like syrup than water. And that's when the danger begins. Now imagine this. You've taken your evening dose of a diuretic, or you've eaten a few celery sticks as a night. Your body keeps releasing fluid, but you're not awake. As you sleep, your blood volume quietly drops. Your blood circulation slows, and your brain receives less oxygen. In this thickened, slow-moving blood, clots begin to form. Tiny ones at first, often in the small vessels that feed the brain's most sensitive areas. By morning, the results can be devastating. You might wake up and dizzy, your balance gone, your words tangled. Or you might not wake up at all. I once cared for a patient named Mr. Raymond, 82, a retired carpenter from Florida. Every night before bed, he ate hot celery sticks with peanut butter, his healthy snack. He also took a mild diuretic for high blood pressure. One morning, his wife found him slumped in his recliner, unable to move his left arm. And the scan revealed a small but life-changing ischemic stroke. His blood was thick, his sodium low, and his body severely dehydrated. The perfect storm had been building for weeks. He just didn't know. This is why dehydration is one of the most underestimated stroke triggers in older adults. It doesn't take a hot summer day and physical exertion to dehydrate you. It can happen silently through something as simple as too much celery combined with age and medication. When your blood thickens, it doesn't flow freely. It lingers away clumps, and that's when clots form. Small, silent, lethal. Celery isn't bad, not at all, but it must be respected. If you enjoy it, eat it earlier in the day, and balance it with water and electrolytes. Never eat large amounts of celery late at night, and especially if you're on diuretics or blood pressure medications. And if you wake up often to urinate or feel dizzy in the mornings, that's your body whispering that it's losing too much fluid. Don't ignore that signal. It's your brain's quiet cry for help. Because at your age, Even something as pure as water can turn into a threat when your balance shifts. And if you think celery, and this is the only healthy vegetable with a dark side, wait until you hear about the next one. A leafy green, so trendy, it's called a superfood, yet it can quietly shut down your thyroid, slow your brain, and open the door to stroke without a volley. The single symptom. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now, let's keep going with point number 4. 4, kale, the hid thyroid suppressor. Kale, the crown jewel of modern health food. You can see it in every grocery store, every smoothie bar, every anti-aging cookbook. It's marketed as a miracle vegetable, loaded with vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants that promise to keep you young and protect your heart. But what if I told you that for many people over 60, this so-called superfood could quietly disrupt your body's delicate balance, slow for brain, and even trigger strokes by creating the perfect conditions for blood clots to form? The truth is, kale isn't dangerous by nature. It's dangerous by ignorance. The older we get, our metabolism slows, our organs and our hormone balance becomes easier to disturb. Kale contains natural compounds called Goitrogens, which interfere with how your thyroid uses iodine. When the thyroid slows down even slightly, your metabolism weakens, your cholesterol rises, and your circulation changes. Over time, your blood thickens, your arteries stiffen, and oxygen delivery to your brain becomes unstable. I've seen it countless times. Older adults who believe they're eating for longevity, when in reality, they're slowly setting the stage for vascular trouble. One of my patients, Mrs. Clara Hughes, 76, from Oregon, was one of them. She started every morning and with a raw kale smoothie, spinach, kale, almond milk, and a scoop of protein powder. It's what all the health blogs say to do, she told me proudly. For months, she felt energetic. But then came the fatigue, the foggy thinking, the weight gain. She brushed it off as aging until one afternoon, she stumbled in her garden, her right hand suddenly weak and uncoordinated. At the hospital, her thyroid hormone levels were alarmingly low, her cholesterol dangerously high, and imaging revealed a small ischemic stroke. The clot had formed in one of her carotid branches, a tiny blockage in the vessel that your brain becomes unstable. I've seen it countless times. Older adults who believe they're eating for longevity, when in reality, they're slowly setting the stage for vascular trouble. One of my patients, Mrs. Clara Hughes, 76, from Oregon, was one of them. She started every morning with a raw kale smoothie, spinach, kale, almond milk, and a scoop of protein powder. It's what all the health blogs say to do. And she told me proudly, for months, she felt energetic. But then came the fatigue, the foggy thinking, the weight gain. She brushed it off as aging until one afternoon, she stumbled in her garden, her right hand suddenly weak and uncoordinated. At the hospital, her thyroid hormone levels were alarmingly low, her cholesterol dangerously high, and imaging revealed a small ischemic stroke. The clot had formed in one of her carotid branches, a tiny blockage in the vessel that feeds oxygen to the brain. The underlying cause, a combination of thyroid suppression from years of raw kale smoothies and blood thickening from slowed metabolism. It didn't happen overnight, but when the body's balance finally tipped, it happened fast, and it changed her life forever. This is what I wish more and seniors understood. Healthy is not the same as harmless. Your body at 70 is not your body at 40. The foods that once fueled you can now interfere with your hormones, your medications, and your blood flow in unpredictable ways. When your thyroid slows, your blood no longer moves like it should. It becomes heavier, slower, more likely to clot. And those clots, invisible and silent, can strike without warning. If you enjoy kale, don't give it up completely. Just be wise. Cook it lightly to reduce the goitrogen effect. Avoid daily raw smoothies. Get your thyroid checked regularly, especially if you feel sluggish, cold, or foggy, because the older you get, the smaller your margin for imbalance becomes. And sometimes even a superfood can become a silent threat. Kale may be green and vibrant, but when it quietly interferes with your thyroid, it sets off a chain reaction: slow blood, rising cholesterol, sticky arteries, and ultimately, the kind of clot that steals speech or memory in a single night. And if you think kale is the worst hidden danger in your kitchen, you might be shocked to learn that the next vegetable, something as ordinary as the canned corn or green beans sitting in your pantry, can raise your blood pressure, stiffen your arteries, and lay the groundwork for a stroke before you even taste the salt. 5, canned vegetables, the sodium bomb. For many older Americans, canned vegetables are a symbol of comfort and simplicity. They remind you of easy meals and childhood dinners and that familiar stocked pantry feeling of security. After all, vegetables are healthy, right? But what most seniors don't realize is that inside those bright labels and friendly slogans lies one of the most silent and overlooked dangers to the aging brain and heart, the kind of danger that doesn't make noise or cause pain until it does. The truth is, many canned vegetables are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and hidden chemicals that quietly raise blood pressure, strain the arteries, and in time, trigger strokes and form deadly blood clots. Here's how it happens. As we age, our blood vessels lose flexibility. The once supple walls of the arteries, designed to expand and contract, begin to stiffen like old rubber. At the same time, the kidneys, an older adult, eats a can of green beans, corn, or soup that contains 700